of his supplementary, because I understand she can only be if it exists.
I've not granted him
Yes.
permission yet to file the supplementary.
Subject to what you say, Chair, if it does exist at all, because he doesn't know.
I think. Mr. Adams, you are afforded an opportunity to file a supplementary.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, if I may, just so that you know, because I didn't want to speak on camera, I think you and I had a chat about where my wife would be on Friday. Commissioner Madlanga.
I'm not sure.
No, just, oh, sorry.
I doubt that. I think all we've done when we meet outside would just be to exchange greetings and pleasantries. I don't remember that kind of detail anyway.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Adams, there are two clippings from the recording that I want to play. The one relates to the opening of the dockets, just to go through what it is that you told IDAC at the time. And the second is what you had spoken about earlier about the threat that was made, that you heard, the rumor that you heard that the threat was made by General Mkonazi for Minister Mkunu, that he would be arrested if the PKTT is disbanded. I'm not so much interested in what you say, what you communicate to them, but what Mr. Perumal says in response to that, okay? So can we start with and Chair, I think you will need the headphones that were, and just check if you have a pair.
I do, thank you.
I think this portion is audible, but it's easier to have the headphones on. So this is a recording after introductions are made, and Advocate Ramsamy asks you about what happens from the time that you receive the documents.
So we're working on that personally.
With regards to that, how does this information reach your table? Let's start there with the housebreaking situation with Lushaba. Lushaba, hey?
Yeah, Lushaba. I was given the family's not announced. I hate it. I couldn't believe what I was doing.
You didn't try to make any attempts to trace who dropped the file off or anything?
There are no cameras. So that was exactly.
And you're still in possession of that file?
Yes.
Yeah, the documents. Yeah, no, we have it.
Yeah. I made copies of it. I've given them really good. But the copy.
Full name is Fadiel Adams.
I don't have the second name.
Fadiel.
That would be my ID, like in the second. Just keep it simple.
That's all.
So I'm not going to create a investigator.
Okay, when did you receive it?
It was roundabout, not to die, roundabout the first of
2024.
Couldn't tell you the exact dates. The second was for a few days, but I couldn't believe what was it.
What steps did you take after
I-
sitting on it for a few days?
I mentioned it to Zen Cameron, who's the chief, and I also questions in portfolio, and nothing came of it. Which one would say something with it all? Actually, I think that's not my name, he's not my name.
You can just call me Drew. October. Okay. Drew is fine.
I'm more comfortable with that.
Really?
But we can't even tell the truth.
Okay. What steps did you take after asking the questions at portfolio and not receiving any?
I went to, can I say the police station? Hang on a second. I laid the charges there. I was then reliably informed that the docket had been collected or disappeared. I then went to Orlando police station, later charged there.
Okay, one of the questions we've already asked is, when you found out about the Grand Central, you then left the entire province and went to Ikasi and opened the document.
Because if they disappeared, the Grand Central would disappear, which is why I thought.
Okay. So you had no faith in
I had no
opening
faith
it
in
within the
the
province? What steps did you take with regards to going to Orlando? You booked your private vehicle, you
I
took
took the
a...
flights.
Okay.
With my father and Cooper.
Mhm.
And I went to Orlando and I went to church.
Who did you go with?
I went alone.
Do you have any contacts at Orlando? When you opened the dockets in Grand Central, how did you get hold of the CAS numbers? They SMS them to you?
Yes, that is interesting. I didn't receive it.
No SMSs. Okay. So how did you get those CAS numbers?
No, the case numbers I provided the video with was from Orlando police station. Because when I got there, I heard something. I said I wouldn't be in the police station until I received these things.
Okay.
I've been contacted by the IDAC. I given
Mr. Adams, you now heard the recording. Now, this is the independent entity that you want to that must investigate your matter. So I'm hoping that you would have been open and honest with them about it, because it's an entity that hopefully at that stage you didn't have misgivings about, because this was the independent body, correct?
As far as my memory would allow, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you do correct yourself when you give the date when you initially found the documents, and then it is put to you.
Oh, sorry. Ms. Sigels, I heard and I think it's the case, in fact, with my co-commissioners. I heard Ms. Ramsamy quite well, but it wasn't the case with Mr. Adams.
With Mr. Adams.
Yes. Can you perhaps just summarize what Mr. Adams says?
Will do, Chair.
Advocate, excuse me, Justice Madlanga, Commissioner Madlanga, if you could just speak up, I'm struggling to hear you.
Oh, sorry
Thank you,
about
sir.
that.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. I was saying I had difficulty hearing you. I could hear Ms. Ramsamy quite well. So I was asking Ms. Sigels Ngube to please summarize what you say.
I was hoping
I
someone,
would hear bits and pieces here.
I
and
was
there.
hoping someone who was also struggling to hear me. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
I heard it quite clearly, but it could be because I heard it, played it on my own system rather than through this. So Ms. Ramsamy asks you, let's start with the Lushaba matter, and she says, how did you get the documents? And you explain it was, you found it under your door. And she then asks you, what did you do with it? You said you mentioned it to Mr. Cameron, and you asked questions at portfolio committee, and nothing came of it. That's what you say. And she then says, and then what did you do? You say, I went and laid a charge. And she asked you, when did you get the documents? You say 1 November, around about 1 November initially. And you say, but I don't really remember the exact date. She asks you, what did you do? You say you lodged, you sat on it for a few days, and then you went and you opened a case at Grand Central. Then as you telling her that, you say to her, actually, Advocate, I'm wrong about my date. It was in October. It was in October. Then you say, you continue, and then later on you say early October. It was early October. She then asks you, you say you go and open it at Grand Central. Did you get the CAS number? And you say you then found that your dockets had gone missing, or you were informed that your dockets had gone missing. And faced with that, you decided to go to Johannesburg and you opened up dockets there. Then she asked you, with regards to that, what did you do? How did you make those arrangements? Did you book your own vehicle, your private vehicle? You said you flew with your parliamentary available flights. You went and you opened the cases, and then she says to you, one of the questions you're going to be asked is, you left a whole province to go to Ikasi to go and open up these cases. Why would you do that? And then you explained because your rockets had gone missing in Cape Town. And then she asks you, regarding those arrangements, who did you go with? And you said, I went alone. And she said, do you know anybody in or at Orlando Police Station? Do you have any connections there? You say no. Then she asks you, how did you get your CAS numbers at Grand Central? And you say it was SMS, and then you correct yourself and say, actually, I didn't get those numbers, but I learned something when I went for the Orlando ones. I waited until I got the CAS numbers, and that's where it ends. Does that accord with what you heard yesterday? Because it would have been clearer.
As you say it now, ma'am, it's like I'm hearing it, yeah.
Okay. So I just have a few questions regarding that. You say in the recording, you correct yourself and say early October. I had asked you yesterday and you were firm that it would have been late October. I'm going to ask you again about that time period, because one of the things you say to her is you sat on it for a few days before you opened the case. In your statement before the commission, you say you got it 2 days before you opened the case in Grand Central, which we know is the 29th of October. So which is it?
I'm not understanding the question, ma'am.
In your
At least-
affidavit before the commission, you say you got it, you got the documents, you received the documents under your, on your floor of your office 2 days before you opened the cases at Grand Central. The cases at Grand Central were opened on the 29th of October. That is inconsistent with receiving the documents early October, as you said to her in the recording, and sitting on it for a few days, and then going to Mr. Cameron and asking questions at Portfolio, and then going to Grand Central. So the two are inconsistent.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why I'm asking you again, now with the benefit of having listened to the recording, when did you actually receive the document?
I'm convinced that it was late October. It wasn't early. I think I made a mistake when I spoke to her, ma'am.
Okay. If it was late October, was it 2 days before you laid the charges at Grand Central?
Yes, ma'am, in my recollection, it was 2 days. I didn't sit with it long.
Okay, because in the recording you say to her, I sat on it for a few days.
A few days.
And you say you'd mentioned it to Mr. Cameron.
Yes, ma'am.
And you say that you asked questions at the Portfolio Committee. So when would that have been?
I almost think that the sequence is wrong. I laid the cases and then ask questions at the portfolio. I would ask the commission to understand that this is just a conversation with the prosecutor, and I'm just giving her the information as she's asking the questions. I'm not taking notes. I didn't check my phone. I'm just relaying to her as she's asking questions. And for example, early October, I know it wasn't early October. Sorry, ma'am.
Okay, well, this part is important because you know from the recording that one of the pertinent questions that she asks you is it's important to know what you did with the information before you laid the charges. And because she says to you, you have a duty to report, not just to open cases. Right? And you say, well, I spoke to Cameron and I asked questions at the portfolio. So you were very adamant that before you opened the cases, you did ask questions at portfolio and you did mention it to Mr. Cameron.
Yes, ma'am. That is what the recording says. That is what I say. But it wouldn't have been possible because the portfolio meeting would only happen like the next week. So I consider what you say and I accept what you say, but I think my sequence is wrong.
Yeah, but you know, having listened to the full recording, that conversation, though that topic comes up at least 3 or 4 times in that recording, and you are consistent with, in fact, at some point when she's assisting with the wording of your statement, she says, you went to Mr. Cameron, you went to the portfolio, you asked questions, and you got shut down. You recall that part of the recording, which
Yes,
says
ma'am.
you got shut down.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't object to that part of it, but let's leave that aside. What follows from that is that Mr. Perumal says that we should exclude that from your affidavit. Do you recall that? Because they didn't want to necessarily then get Mr. Cameron involved in the loop of things, and they didn't want to then have the defense ask for parliamentary minutes and all of that. You remember that part of the recording?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. So it is significant that was what you had communicated to them, because they wouldn't know that you've got your dates mixed up or your sequence mixed up. And it's an important aspect, because she's saying you can't just simply have gone to open the cases. You should have reported, because you have a duty to report. And an important part of that reporting is Mr. Cameron, mentioning it to Mr. Cameron, and asking questions at the portfolio. So I'm asking you again, is it that you lied to IDAC, or did you lie to the ad hoc and to this commission about that? Because it can't be a mistake. It can't be that you were confused about the timeline.
I wouldn't say that I lied to IDAC because I had no reason to. I think I just gave them the wrong information as it just came out as she was. Like I say, if I had my notes, if I had taken notes, I wouldn't have made that mistake. It's just me and my dates and time frames, and that's what I struggle with. One of the things I struggle with, rather. And I will tell you honestly, I didn't remember Mr. Perumal's comment until I heard it yesterday. And at the time, if I think back, I thought it was just a case of an investigator just wanting a clear-cut case pertaining to what's in front of us. But as things have unraveled at this commission, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I will accept for purposes of our engagement that you weren't aware of what Mr. Perumal's motives were necessarily with this.
No, ma'am.
But you were aware that he did have an ulterior motive or another motive in addition to investigating your matter, because he says it when you guys are discussing the threat made by General Mkwanazi, right? I want to play that recording next, but I want to ask you again, Mr. Adams, insofar as whether or not you raised the issue with the parliamentary committee before you went to Grand Central, what is your version? You didn't do it before?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And the reason you didn't do it, is it what you told ad hoc, that these things just don't go anywhere when you raise it at that committee?
If I may, ma'am, I know that you're trying to get done and you have another witness.
You know I'm trying to do what?
I know that you're trying to get done because you have another witness.
No, I don't have another witness.
Oh.
I have enough time for you.
Okay, so when you raise things at the parliamentary portfolio, I mentioned the 100 million rand drugs, which goes away. I mentioned the hotels. I mentioned the security clearances. Nothing is ever done. So when you hear me say it in that recording, it's because whatever you bring to Parliament, no one is held accountable. And that was my frustration in the room again.
Okay. And did you know at any point in time after your engagement now with IDAC on the 6th of January 2025 that they were also approaching Mr. Cameron to get an affidavit from him for purposes of the investigation?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Cameron didn't discuss it with you?
Mr. Cameron would never tell me something like that, ma'am.
Why not?
He's my biggest, well, not, I wouldn't say my biggest critic, but it's an opposition thing. He would never tell me something like that.
But you are the A1 in all of these matters, and there's a statement by him in one of the dockets. Were you not informed about that?
No, ma'am. I was not. I was shocked when I heard this. I was not told. I was not kept informed. I was given scant information regarding the progress, but that wasn't one of the statements made.
Okay. And just then to confirm on another aspect from the recording, you told IDAC as well that you went alone to Orlando Police Station.
When I say alone, ma'am, I mean that I went without anyone from Cape Town, none of my support structure.
No, Mr. Adams. She asks you, do you have any connections at Orlando Police Station? So she was very specific on a follow-up question and you said no. That was the opportunity for you to say to her, actually, there were prior arrangements made. I was meeting somebody there who had made arrangements for me. Because
Yes.
she found it as strange as we do, that you would go to, like she says, Ikasi to go and open these dockets.
If I may respond, ma'am, a man that you meet once is not a connection, not from where I'm at. And also, it is a connection, and I'm sure you can speak to the spokesperson afterwards. A connection in terms of where I'm at is generally something that you're doing, I would say, unlawfully, which is not the relationship that I had with Elvis on that one day. That's not, and that is my considered view of the situation. As a matter of fact, I tell you today, no, it's fine.
Okay, forget the meaning and definition of a connection. When you're asked the question, who did you go with, or did you go alone? There's only one answer on your facts. It is, I went with somebody else, even if you didn't want to disclose who it was. And especially because on this morning's explanation, where you revise your position of yesterday, you say you went to a tire shop and you met, I think you call him Elvis or something?
Yes, ma'am.
Elvis, you met him at a tire shop, so you went, wherever you had slept, you went to Elvis's store, and then you went with him to Orlando. That is, you didn't go alone. The answer to the question, who did you go with, could never have required you to speak to from Cape Town. It speaks about that morning. Who were you with? And if you say, I was alone, that's a falsehood.
I accept that, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
And in your statement before the commission, you also did not disclose that part.
No, Commissioner, I did not.
Why is that? Why would you not disclose it? Because you are now testifying in the commission. Forget about IDEC and the recording. You are now before the three of us, and you are explaining the circumstances under which you ended in Orlando. And you don't mention this crucial information that, in fact, you went to a shop somewhere and you were driven in a Mercedes-Benz to the police station. And presumably you left the station in the same Mercedes-Benz and you went somewhere with these people before eventually you went back to the airport. Why would you not disclose something which is so important to what we are investigating?
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, this is not an excuse, and I'm not offering it as an excuse. But I wanted to add much more to my affidavit, but the time constraints, and that is actually something that even as I will admit to you, as I was going through my affidavit, wanting to add more information, that wasn't at the top of my list, but as you frame it to me, it should have been in there. But I asked the commission to understand that I did ask for a later date because my supplement, my affidavit would have a lot more. There's information in here that some of it pertains to your scope, some of it doesn't, but that I wanted to put in here, and unfortunately.
Mr. Adams, you had an extra week. Remember, you submitted an affidavit late Sunday evening. You came here on Monday. We couldn't deal with your evidence. You were given a week and a half to come on Wednesday this week. So you had a week and a half to add this. You must have known all along that the reason you are being called to this commission is these cases that you opened in Cape Town and Orlando and how IDEC took over your case. So that is crucial information that you did not mention in your statement. And even as you were giving evidence yesterday, you did not mention it until you were confronted with it and you had to correct your evidence this morning. Now that is problematic.
I understand your situation, my situation, Commissioner.
But is there any reason why you did not mention it yesterday? Let's assume for a moment you did not have time as you were preparing your statement. Yesterday, when you were going through your statement, what is your reason for not mentioning that actually, when I got to Orlando, I contacted Elvis, we met somewhere else, we then traveled to the police station together?
It was an oversight on my part, Commissioner. It was, like I say, I was underprepared yesterday, and I admitted that, and I actually asked the advocate for an extra day, and I was told I wouldn't get it. So I was not prepared as you would want me to be, or as I would want to be. And for that, I can only apologize.
Can I suggest that it's not the subject of an oversight when you sit and say, I took an Uber from the airport to Orlando. You can't the following day say, oh, I went to Elvis's tire shop the following day, and we traveled together in a maroon motor vehicle, Mercedes-Benz. There's no oversight. It's a completely different story. And as you told it yesterday, that I took an Uber and I landed at Orlando and I met Elvis there, you would know as you're telling it that, but that's not what happened. You've conjured up a story. You've come up with an explanation what happened that day. It cannot be an oversight, this change of your story. You chose to tell a version. The best you could do is to say, I don't have any recollection of that day, and try to make sense of what I did. That's why I told you a different story. It's not a matter of oversight. And I want to put a proposition to you, but do you want to comment on what I've said now before I put my proposition to you?
No, Commissioner, I do not want to comment.
What I want to suggest to you is, when you look at what you tell us happened, the facts of General Lincoln at the airport, he's the one that said go to Orlando. When you are at the airport, he's the one that said to you, call this number. And this happens to be a crime intelligence person who, as Commissioner Kumalo pointed out to you yesterday, happens to be the same person that dealt with Mr. Mkhotsi, Mr. Matlala. There's that connection. And you tell us, General Lincoln gave you his contact details, you know he's a crime intelligence person, or even if you didn't know, you meet him at Orlando. Those facts suggest you knew this cannot be disclosed. These facts of how all of this came together. You knew it can never be public. That's why you don't tell people, I had this from General Lincoln. Remember yesterday you were asked, did you say who your source was? And you say, no, I did not. It's because you knew you couldn't, if he's your source, including that he's connected to you with these people. And I want to suggest to you that that's why you did not tell the truth about how you land up at Orlando, including who you went with. It's because you understood this could not be disclosed because of the people that are involved with it. Do you want to comment to that? That's my view of why you have told us the story that you have.
If I may comment on that.
Yes.
I understand how the dots could be connected, Commissioner. And if indeed Elvis is involved with, I heard he was involved with Brown. If he was involved with Cat, I was the loudest member of Parliament screaming for the cancellation of that Medicare clinic 24 tender. I promise you now, you will not find me anywhere near that man. So what I'm saying.
Discount Mr. Matala for my proposition for what I've put to you. Discount that I've mentioned him. Let's work with how you say your source is General Lincoln about the loss of your dockets. He's the one that says go to Orlando. And because it's him that's saying that, you have no reason to doubt him. You get to the airport, he says to you, contact this person. This person comes and takes you to the police station, and you believed that all of that was because General Lincoln is involved, all of that is good because he's a man of integrity, as you say.
Yes, he was, Commissioner.
Yes, and what I'm suggesting to you is you understood from those facts, if that's what happened, you understood from those facts that it could never come out that your source was General Lincoln. You told us that yesterday. You understood that. You also understood that you couldn't disclose that he's the one that connected you with Elvis, right? You understood that. It's all clandestine. Let me use that word. And you understood and appreciated that can never be disclosed. And that's the reason I'm suggesting to you that is in fact the reason that yesterday you gave us a different story about how you got to Orlando, and you changed it today, and you changed it today because you were confronted with the facts that were going to be put to you. So it's not oversight. It's a deliberate decision to tell a different story from what actually happened.
Not to be argumentative with the commissioner, but that is not how it happened. But I do understand your inference. I won't argue with it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Mr.
And there's a further individual, it's General Khan as well, that witness G is connected to General Khan as well. You're aware of that now? You
I'm
say
aware
you
of that
weren't
now.
aware at the time.
I am aware of that now.
Okay. If I can ask you to go to file 9B, page 3920. And this is probably also one of the reasons, Mr. Adams, that Commissioner Baloyi is putting it to you that you didn't want to disclose that witness G accompanied you to Orlando. So it just tell me if you have 3920.
I do.
This is a letter from General Khan's attorneys, and it is addressed to one of the recipients. It's I think it's Ms. Mbele or Mr. Mbele, but it's CC'd in there is General Mbuso Kumalo. And it regards a request that was made by General Mbuso Kumalo to interview or see General Khan while he was in hospital. And the attorneys address a letter to them to explain what the arrangements will be regarding visits to with General Khan by SAPS officials. And the letter says, we confirm that we act on behalf of Major General Feroz Khan. We have been copied in on the exchange below. As a solution, we propose that subject to our client's medical condition, and the professional views of the attending medical team, any visits to our client must be facilitated through witness G. We have requested that witness G facilitate such requests as he is more readily available to respond in person and that he is or should be familiar with members of SAPS. Our reservation regarding the appointment of the PKTT is being addressed with the acting national commissioner. Now, there's also an affidavit by witness G where he says that although he works with General Khan, he has a close friend relationship with him, considers them to be friends. And this is the same person that's escorting you to Orlando Police Station, right? To go and lodge criminal charges against, amongst others, the Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence, right? And does it not so transpire that one of the concerns or one of the allegations that you made was that somebody like General Khan was being overlooked in favor, and General Kumalo was being favored for the position of Divisional Commissioner when there were other more qualified or qualified generals within crime intelligence, one of them being General Khan?
Yes, ma'am.
That's correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So you can see why we are saying to you that the reason why you didn't want to disclose that witness G was the person that escorted you is because of this close connection that he has with associates of the minister who you complain about your investigation, which the minister, office of the minister escalates. And insofar as General Khan is concerned, where you are raising issues that he potentially has been overlooked for the position of Divisional Commissioner, which General Kumalo got. Correct?
May I respond?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. I note the email. it genuinely has nothing to do with me, but I will assist you. I will try and assist with the assertion you've made. My complaint about policemen being overlooked had everything to do with security clearance. I was asking questions as to why people who didn't have security clearance became heads of provinces, heads of crime intelligence, and as a matter of fact, I think it was the National Commissioner that said, and this is more than a year and a half ago, so I'm saying it loosely. He said, Adams has issues with everybody and the security clearance, but he doesn't speak about Khan, who skipped a rank. And my reply was, give me the evidence and I will lay a charge. That evidence never came. I'm not acting for Khan. As a matter of fact, later down the line, it's unfortunately not in my affidavit, but I'm going to say something that, but I just want to, when we get there. What I'm saying, I do understand the complications, and I'm understanding clearer than ever how wide this net is. And I'm understanding that while I'm trying to lay charges so that we can start fixing the SAPs, there's a game being played behind me that I still don't fully understand.
Okay, but did you know that General Khan also deposed to an affidavit in one of your cases?
In one of my cases?
Yes.
I was never told
Were
this.
You were never told?
Never.
Okay. Now,
When you raise the complaint, and it's only because you've mentioned it now, it's not anything that I would have asked questions about. When you raise the complaint about General Khan, such as General Khan, being overlooked when people without security clearance are appointed, did you know or did you inquire about his own security clearance? Because the testimony that we've had so far suggests he also doesn't have security clearance.
Ma'am, last night, people went on TV claiming that I didn't know Andre Lincoln, and I said to myself, I'm not going to mention my brother anymore. But I just want to. I mean, his wife went on TV and confirmed that we were friends and that we were working together against corruption and gangsterism. But I just want to say to you, I don't have the names right here. General Lincoln told me 7 of the 9 PCs don't have security clearance. Madondo will never have one. Kumalo has one now. This was the discussion because his concern and my concern was our SAPS is run by people who for whatever reason cannot get security clearance.
My question is about General Khan.
No, I'm getting there. So I specifically asked him, what about Khan? He said, last I checked, he had one.
Thank you. The evidence before us suggests he also doesn't have security
I will not
clearance.
fight
So
with that.
this is yet another case where General Lincoln gave you an incorrect answer.
It could well be, ma'am. And as I say, I'm quoting him loosely. He said, last time I checked, he did. But what I'm saying is, if General Khan does not have security clearance, he doesn't belong in the office either.
Thank you.
okay, and then just finally on this aspect, how long did you know Mr. Nkabinde at the time that you complained to the minister on the 1st of November?
The very first correspondence I ever had with Cedric Nkabinde was when he replied to my email. And he called me from an office line, maybe a day or two later, and asked me if I was happy with the progress made, with his responses. And I said, yeah. And he said, take my cell number if you need me after hours. But I never used it until one specific day, and you're going to play that recording later. That was the first time I actually used his cell phone.
Okay, that's when you use a cell phone, but I think you are wrong on your sequence again. Because remember, I took you to your email of 1 November 2024 at 8:21, where you addressed the email to the minister himself. And then I say to you 4 minutes later, the email is then addressed to Mr. Nkabinde. So how did Mr. Nkabinde know to send, for you to send the email to Mr. Nkabinde? How did you know to do that? And that's when you said you received a call. Yeah, so it wasn't a day or two later.
All of our email addresses are on the parliamentary phone book. If I punch in your name, your email address will come. So I found out who the minister's staff was. And also the other person that was looking, no, I'm lying, no.
You are lying. You said yesterday
lying.
that
I am lying.
Yes.
No, my sequence is
And
here
I
to
wasn't even trying to catch you out in a
I know.
lie. I was just
No.
correcting you.
If I may, ma'am, sorry. It's because I'm being flooded with paperwork here. That's why I'm correcting myself. I'm lying. The first time I spoke to Nkabinde, I got response from Nkabinde, was, I'm not going to steal. I emailed him or did he email me?
You emailed the minister on the 1st of
On the
November,
1st.
the minister himself. And I said to you, how did you know to then email Mr. Nkabinde 4 minutes later to forward that same email? And that's when you said you got a call from Mr. Nkabinde to forward it to him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that was the first time, the 1st of November,
Yes,
not 2 days later.
Sorry.
So you're saying that is the first time that you spoke to Mr. Nkabinde?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how did the relationship progress such that by the time you meet on the 6th of January 2025 with the IDAC guys, you're able to tell them about what Mr. Nkabinde told you about the threat made by General Mkonazi?
I will happily tell you that. I received information, and it seemed too far-fetched to be true until I spoke to certain people who said, this is a concern. And I think you're going to play I don't know if you're going to play the recording, because I don't want to.
About the threat?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll get
So
to that. There's one part where you use very colorful language.
Can I
Well,
ask
you use
that
it in both, but the
Can-
first one, it's not as audible. I had to strain my ear for it, but I could hear the colorful language.
Can I
And
ask
so
that
I'll
you
rather
don't-
play the second one,
Please.
but I can't protect you from what you said there as well, but it's less than the first one.
And I'm asking that if we can even edit it out, my mother's watching.
Okay, tell your mother to switch off now, because I can't edit it and... Okay. Yes, you can explain the relationship and then we'll get to the recording. How the relationship
There
progresses.
was no real relationship. And I'll tell you why I only called him on that day is because I have, at the best of times, maybe 50 people on my WhatsApp. People are free to use my parliamentary number. There's no WhatsApp on there. But as for WhatsApp, it's a very intrusive thing. So I did not call him. I took his number, but I did not call him.
Okay,
Are we playing now?
I'll play it now, Chair.
May all sensitive viewers or listeners please switch off or stop listening at this point, please.
Thank you, Chair.
Mommy, please. Do we need it?
That's
that-
perfect for me, thank you.
And that includes Fadiel Adams.
Don't find the right thing.
That's perfect for me, thank you.
Either the same.
My brother, Mansa's telling me there's something about the threat to arrest the minister or something.
Yeah.
From who is it coming?
The Commissioner of KZN.
To arrest who he wants to arrest?
He wants to exclude him for his banning the political feelings last name.
But he can't do it.
This is all for you. Don't say that you need to stop out of this fact that he was violence. This is between 600 people. We are on that. That unit is important for this is the book. Because that's the unit that's used to terrorize the people. So it's like the new flag plus.
They'll get proper manners.
No, this is the new flag plus unit. We tell them.
They'll get proper manners.
I'm struggling to get that boy out, that young boy out of prison.
So just to summarize what is being said, you tell them, and can I just preface this by saying, when you first tell Ms. Ramsamy and Mr. Rapesu about the the threat by General Mkwanazi. You, in fact, don't really know General Mkwanazi.
No.
You struggle to even get to who he is. You mistake him for somebody as a general in crime intelligence. And Mr. Rapesu is trying to get the name out of you, and he says, who is it? Is it somebody that's national? And you didn't know. That's correct. So as at 6 January 2025, you didn't really know General Mkwanazi.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So by the time you repeat the threat to Mr. Perumal, the reason why you know it's General Mkwanazi is because Mr. Rapesu asks you, is it General Mkwanazi? And you say, yes, that's the one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're relaying to them that Mr. Nkabinde told you that General Mkwanazi called him, Mr. Nkabinde, and said that he's going to effing arrest Minister Mkhunu if he disbands the PKTT. Correct?
If I may, I had heard the rumor that very morning that there was a plot to arrest Minister Mkhunu. Now, I've made it very clear to anyone that will listen that while I have my differences with the minister on the issue of disbandment of the PKT and the strengthening of the AGU, I support the minister. And what the rumor was going around, and I have a screenshot of it somewhere because someone sent it to me, but by the next morning it had gone countrywide. It was that General Mkwanazi, no, I don't know if General Mkwanazi's name is on there, but the PKTT is going to arrest Senator Mkhunu if he tries to disband it. So I called Mr. Nkabinde and I said to him, I'm hearing rumors that probably aren't true, but they are concerning. And he said to me, General Mkwanazi called me and told me that they will arrest the minister if he attempts this. And I was shocked because I genuinely believe that in spite of everything said about the suspended minister, that he's a more than decent man, and I was upset about it. So that is my answer.
When you first tell Mr. Rapesu and Ms. Ramsamy about the threat, you actually refer them to, you say to them, can I tell you something that I'm not supposed to tell you? And you say to them, and this is why Ms. Ramsamy actually asked that it not be played, that part, because you were saying it's off the record, but you were the one that actually wanted that part to be played when you gave us the clippings. But in that record, that clipping, you say to Mr. Rapesu and Ms. Ramsamy that I want to tell you something that I'm not supposed to tell you, but the minister, Minister Mkhunu is freezing CI positions, right? Now, why do you say that you're not supposed to tell them that?
Because General Lincoln asked me to tell nobody. He said Senzo is cleaning up.
Okay, but by the 6th of January 2025, the disbandment letter that was sent by the minister to the National Commissioner was already public, and one of the directives from the minister to the National Commissioner was that the post should be frozen. So it wasn't a secret. So it seems to me that you weren't referencing the letter. You had information other than what was contained in the letter. And now you're saying it's because General Lincoln told you, which means he had inside information.
Ma'am, you know, I've got a voice note here that I will not play, but I will play it to you.
Then don't tell us.
No,
what you have.
no, because I don't want to drag that man any further. I don't want to harm his family, but General Lincoln had deep information within the SAPS because of the respect people had. People would complain by him and he'd give it, if you understand what I'm saying. He and I would sit and we see how we could source it. So I'm not talking about this particular issue. I'm talking about issues on the whole. So for me, when the man asked me, keep this tight, Senzo's cleaning up. This was good news even though I didn't know what Senzo was doing.
Yes, I'm interested in that part because it seems to me that what you're saying to us is that General Lincoln had information about what the minister was going to do, which was something outside of the official letter that was communicated to the National Commissioner, because if it was something that was already public, you wouldn't need to say to Ms. Ramsamy and Mr. Rapesu, I'm going to tell you something I'm not supposed to tell you, because by then the letter is public. Everybody knows about it.
That's what I say, ma'am. That is exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I know. And that's why I don't think I expand any further, because I've got nothing else to add.
So General Lincoln didn't tell you how he knew that Minister Mkhunu wanted to clean up?
Out of respect for him, there are things I didn't ask.
Okay.
There are things above my pay grade. But I must state for the record, and I don't want to mention my friend anymore, that the respect I had for that man, I never questioned anything about him.
Okay.
I think, Mr. Adams, the more important issue maybe on this topic is you have brought General Lincoln into things that we consider questionable, as in him being on your evidence, him being involved in things that he had no business to be involved with and to discuss with you as a friend and member of parliament. And on this last conversation, that here he knows what the minister is planning to do. And if he were here, we would have had to ask him the question, what business and in what capacity you're retired. So I appreciate that you express, and I don't quarrel with the kind of respect for him that you express, but I don't know that you realize that you've brought his name into matters that are of concern, not only subject matter to the commission, but who in fact was involved in what looks like machinations. You've involved him, you've invoked his name in that way. I just want to draw it to your attention that that's the effect of your testimony. And if we accept it, maybe let me say, if I accept your testimony that implicates him, everything that you have said about him, I would, alone, I'm not implicating my co-commissioners, I would conclude on what you have said about him, that he was part of the shenanigans that have created and resulted in, among other things, the prosecutions of General Khumalo that we now know IDEC is dealing with them the way that they do, or the National Prosecuting Authority. I would have to conclude that he was part of the machinations and he had knowledge into the minister's decisions and reasons to dissolve the PKTT and the other decisions that the minister has made, because that's how you've implicated him. He's feeding you information, he's sending you to meet with people clandestinely that you are not able to disclose because you understand you cannot disclose these things. It's a consequence of your testimony, how you implicate him. Do you want to comment?
Please, ma'am, if I may. This man had retired from the SAPS. He lost both his legs. He was an amputee. He sat in a wheelchair. He'd get in that wheelchair, find his way to his car, and meet me in Manenburg, Lavendale to stop gang violence. He was passionate about cleaning out the SAPS. I understand 100% the consequences of what have happened since I opened those cases, but my affidavit said General Lincoln told me, walk away, son.
Importantly,
what I'm trying to say is that this man had no ulterior motives.
Yes, he may not have had, and it's still a debate that must be had whether we accept what you say about him. But I'm saying if I accept that your testimony about him is correct, that he told you this, he connected to you and all of that, if I accept that, then it creates the impression that he was part of, he involved himself in business and affairs that as a retiree, he had no business to be involved with. He had no business to get involved in telling you that, oh, the minister is cleaning up. He had no business to know that. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because he's not in force. He's not in the force, in the service.
I will concede that.
You understand that?
But,
okay.
But I just want to state it on the record. That man had no intentions that weren't good, and
Okay.
thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Mr. Adams, then can we go to the topic of your A1 statements? And I had prepared extensively on this, and you came. I had prepared extensively on this, and you came to me this morning to say that you want to tell us about these A1 statements before I interrogate you on it, which is on page 3475 of file 9.
File 9 or 9B?
I think
9.
it's 9, normal 9,
Thank you.
just 9.
That's fine. Thank you, sir. 35?
3475.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Let me first identify the documents. So the first one, it's separated by a page. 3475 is where the affidavit starts, and it says A1 bracket 1. And then you'd have to go to 3478, which is the second page of the affidavit. Do you have it?
Thank you. I'm unsure if we're going there, because I'm going to save the Commission a whole lot of time.
Yes, but I first want to identify
Oh.
them so that the commissioners know
3475?
which affidavits you're talking about when you tell them
Oh, sorry,
what you want to say.
3475?
3475 and 3478.
Last time, Ms. Ngube, we had to correct the second page. It should be 3476.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
Advocate.
So then the next one is at 3479. Chair, you will tell me if I'm still correct, because I'm working off the electronic version. 3479 and 3480.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And then 3483 and 3484. That's the third one.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you confirm the signatures that, on the pages that we've identified?
There's also 3485.
No, that's the supplementaries, Commissioner Baloy. These are the A1s. So you want to tell us whether it's your signature on those pages that we've dealt with?
Those are my signatures.
And it's commissioned by Mr. Perumal on the 6th of January 2025.
Yes, ma'am.
And it says, "In my presence at Cape Town."
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell us about this affidavit, these affidavits.
Commissioners, thank you, Advocate. Mrs. Ransamy is right that this is a deviation on these affidavits, but they are commissioned on the same day, on the date as said. However, what has transpired in this committee, it has become obvious to me that Advocate Johnson was working with a brief, and that I was seen in this respect as a pawn. This is why I have laid the criminal charges against the IDAC and Dylan Perumal. And if it is okay with the commissioners, and I will consult my attorney and the investigating officer, who I intend to see this week, and we will, if it is lawful, I will give you my affidavit that will be presented to the NPA. Because what happened here, from here on in, and I do not wish to talk about it here, not on a public platform, from what I know now, it was wrong. False pretenses were used. And from here, I'm not saying what happened before. I'm not saying hotels weren't bought without tax monies. I'm not saying any of that. But right here, I think 30 years of prosecution experience was thrown around. Certain things were done. And this is why I have laid the criminal charge with the IDAC. Against the IDAC.
Well, let's just take it step by step. These are your affidavits.
Yes,
It was
ma'am.
commissioned by Mr. Perumal on the 6th of January 2025 in Cape Town.
Yes, ma'am.
But not during the consultation that was held with you, Mr. Rapesu, Ms. Ramsamy, and Mr. Perumal on the 6th of January 2025.
I'm going to give the commission one final statement on this before I invoke my right, no, not to remain silent.
Well, you don't, according to you, you've laid the criminal charge, so
Yes, ma'am.
you won't have to invoke any right. And we don't know whether it's under investigation, you've just lodged it. So I am going to ask you to explain to the commissioners what you've said.
Yes.
And I want you to be very careful with what you say, remembering that you are under oath
Yes.
now regarding this.
Yes.
And I have given you ample opportunity to have a look at the document and confirm that it is your signature. You took the file home with you as well, and you confirm and you remember that this was commissioned by Mr. Perumal in your presence on the 6th of January 2025.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can tell us the circumstances under which that occurred.
Some hours after my consultation with Ms. Ransamy, Mr. Perumal and Mr. Rapesu, Mr. Perumal called me. You could see he was pressured, or you could hear, because he spoke as fast as I do. And he said to me, I've submitted your A1s to the auntie, he said. I said, who's the auntie? He said, the ID. I said, okay. He says that the ID is not happy with the way we structured this thing. She wants your case broken into 4, and she says we must add a little bit more meat. I said to him, when do you want to do it? He says, I'm flying out tomorrow. It was late. He said, but if you want to come to my hotel, I have a printer. I said to him, no, I've got a printer at my house. If you want to do it, otherwise we can fix the affidavit next week. He said, no, man, I'm under pressure. Mr. Perumal came to my house. He was in conversation with the advocate for a long time.
When you say the advocate, you're speaking about Advocate Johnson.
Advocate Johnson. I wasn't part of the conversation, but I could hear her speaking to her. She seemed very agitated. He seemed very nervous. This was commissioned at my house in Cape Town. However, it is different from the A1s that were signed in the office.
You mean the supplementary affidavits that were signed during the consultation?
During the consultation. As of now, Commissioners, I do not want to say anything that may jeopardize something that I have laid a criminal charge against. I would ask that we move off this topic. I am more than happy to speak to my attorney about it. And if indeed my assistance is sought, I'm happy to offer it.
No, Mr. Adams, part of what we are investigating is any impropriety that IDEC may have been involved in. And at face value, it appears that that's exactly what happened here. So we would want to get to the bottom of this, and you will have to answer any questions that relate to this aspect. And as Ms. Sigels-Ncube said earlier, the fact that you have laid criminal charges against IDEC should not affect that. That is asking questions and you having to respond to those questions.
Okay, if I have
Thank
that
you.
understanding, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mrs. Sigels-Ncube.
Thank you, Chair. You say that that Advocate Johnson and Mr. Perumal were in conversation. And what was he doing? Was he drafting while he was talking to her? How did the affidavits come about?
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
he come with it finalized and
No,
what
ma'am.
happened?
It was typed out at my house, printed at my house, signed at my house.
Okay. And this,
Sorry, you say in that session, he was speaking to Advocate Johnson. How did you come to know
I
that it was?
recognize the voice of, even after hearing it here, it's the same voice.
Okay, so you
It's the same
recognize from her voice. Oh.
And he was calling her, and she was calling him. It went back and forth as they were typing. I personally, at the time, saw nothing wrong with it. The auntie wants the case broken into 4 because they're going to do it in sections. The auntie wants more information. And at the time, thinking nothing of it until things are mentioned and said here. when and that, if you just throw your mind back a little bit, Commissioner, that's the stage where I demand to come and testify.
Thank you.
It's not that Mr. or Chief Perumal's phone was on speaker. It's just that
No, he had the phone.
it does happen with cell phones that if the person's the phone volume is high, you can hear even if it's not on speaker.
The phone, I can confirm the phone was not on speaker, but I couldn't hear the conversation, but words come out.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So the volume was high enough for you to hear the voice.
yes, I was sitting on his left-hand side. He was the one in front of the
Okay,
computer.
Okay.
So I'm not a voice specialist or analyst, but my belief is that he was speaking to Andrew Johnson.
All right. Thank you.
Can I just ask a question? There's a preamble which accompanies this A1 statement and it's dated 6 January 2025. And you signed it. When did you sign it?
No. I flew up to Joburg to sign the preamble, sir.
Was it on the 6th or on a different
No,
date?
it couldn't have been on the 6th.
It couldn't have been on the 6th?
Couldn't have been on the 6th.
So why did you put the date of the 6th on that document?
Was the date on at the time when I signed it?
Yes.
Now, if I can have a look at that, please.
Can you put it up in file 3680? Item 5.
There's one,
Is it also in
there's also,
file 9?
yeah, there's 3481.
3481.
3481. Oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
3481.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Adams, look at 3481, please.
Yes, sir, I see this.
Is that your sorry?
That
You
is
said
my
you signed
signature.
it on the next page. 3482, sorry.
3482.
Yeah.
That is
your
That's my
signature.
scribble, but the date is not my handwriting, and I would not have allowed this.
So you did not put that date
I think
there
this
of
date was
6
put in
January.
retrospectively.
So when you signed it, it did not have a date.
I don't think it had a date, so I think I mentioned it earlier, that when I went up and I told him I'll come to Pretoria, I was running late, and I called Mr. Perumal, and I said to him, can you meet me in the parking? I need to go. And it came down, I just read through it and I signed it.
And is it not possible that the affidavits Ms. Ngube was taking you through, you also signed them on the date that you signed this preamble?
No.
And for me, I want to leave the issue of the affidavit to Ms. Ngube, but why did you not tell the ad hoc committee this? You knew the ad hoc committee was probing Advocate Johnson on the very issues we are discussing, the referrals, the charges against General Kumalo and others. And she was being asked about the Section 27 referrals. You were there. You know that committee members even asked for these documents. So why did you not mention it to the ad hoc committee? Because you were there as a committee member, but you were also called as a witness to testify on these very issues. And then in your statement to this commission, you have a section where you set out the headings that you're going to be dealing with. And the subheadings specifically refer to the issue of the affidavits that you signed and you deposed to. Why do you not mention this late night call and this late night affidavits and the commissioning of affidavits at your house? Because you must have heard Ms. Ramsemi's evidence, and parts of her evidence upset you so much that you gave media interviews on them. And your first shot at her in this commission was to criticize her for calling herself an advocate when she was not an advocate. So you knew about these issues. And I know I've said a lot, so my two questions are this. Why did you not mention this to the ad hoc committee? And why did you not mention them in your evidence in chief?
If I may, in the ad hoc committee, there was never a mention of more than one Section 27. It was only said that she had classified it, which I thought was a bit iffy, but I didn't make much of it. And they didn't really go into the statements. And again,
Ms. Adams, I'm talking about the conduct of IDEC.
Yes.
If you were at the ad hoc committee and you know that the conduct of IDEC was improper in the sense that after you had deposed to affidavits, somebody came to your house late at night, had a call with Advocate Johnson, and they wanted your affidavits to be changed, That's the part that I say, why did you not mention it at the IDEC? The conduct of IDEC.
I will tell you, Commissioner, for me, the conduct of IDAC now, if I look at
No,
it,
no,
with
not
what
now.
I know, I'll go back to there.
Please pause there. That night, when Mr. Perumal came to your house without his two co-investigators, and he said to you, the madam or the advocate does not like the affidavits you have prepared. They want to give you different ones. They come to your house and you do that. Did you at the time think that was proper?
I didn't think it was normal, but I didn't think it was out. I wouldn't say, I didn't think there was anything excellently wrong with it.
So
But
my question is, why did you not bring that conduct to the ad hoc committee's attention when you know that the very issues that ad hoc committee was investigating is the conduct of IDEC in relation to these cases?
I will be honest with you, Commissioner. I need IDAC to succeed. I needed these cases before the court.
So you were willing to do anything to help IDEC succeed, however improper their conduct?
Not anything, Commissioner, but there are things that I was willing to almost close my eyes to get the end result.
Let's leave ad hoc. Before this committee now, before this commission, you have subheadings where you're saying, I'm going to deal with the issue of the affidavits and some of the things that Advocate Ramsemi has said. Why do you not mention that Perumal came to your house, and while he was at your house, he was speaking to Advocate Johnson, and in that discussion, they wanted your affidavits to be changed? Why did you not mention that?
At that time, Commissioner, I had not yet seen these, and I had laid the case against Perumal and IDAC.
Mr. Adams, you don't have to see these things to know what happened. I mean, you've given us detail about how you went to the minister, how documents came under your door, how you did a Section 27. Why do you not mention that there was something that happened on the 6th of January 2025 rather? And now that I think about it, I didn't think about it then, but now that I think about it, it was unusual because after I had prepared A1 affidavits, they came to my house late at night and they said the affidavits have to be changed. Why did you not mention that?
Commissioner, to me, it was a case of we're going to do the affidavit better, we're going to break it into 4 pieces, and that was it. It was only after what I saw here, and I laid a charge, and the reason I don't address it in my affidavit was because I wasn't going to comment on the issue because it's under investigation until Commissioner Madlanga cleared it up for me that no, we're going to speak about this.
You know, Commissioner Baloy used the word and she said machinations. That's what it's starting to look like now. That somehow you were part of a scheme at all costs to bolster these cases, even when you knew that they were not strong. And you would do anything to assist in that regard, even when you could see that whatever was going on, if not improper, then it was suspicious.
Commissioner, for me, when I said that we can do it next week, I was told, no, man, it has to be today. I said, okay, let's just do it, let's get it done. So I do say that that's not regular, even for me, who works late hours. But as far as this case these cases are concerned, I was willing to play whatever part I need to. And I'm not saying that I'm playing for IDAC or I was playing for IDAC. If I was, I would shut up right here. I'm telling you these events as they happen. Thank you.
I'm not a handwriting expert, but I just want to understand some matter of detail. Can you please go to the preamble at page 3477?
3477.
Yes, please.
Oh.
Are you there?
Yes, Commissioner?
Okay, I'll be with you just now. Uh, 3477, I'm sorry.
Yes, Commissioner?
So, The corrected one.
I'm not with you, Commissioner.
There's a preamble, it comes,
Is that what I'm looking for? That-
Won't
Yeah,
help you with the signature, but yes.
yes, I'm there. I'm there.
is that the correct one?
No, the one that has A1 and 2 in brackets.
Yeah, A1 and then bracket 2.
Yes.
At the top.
Okay.
In manuscript. you have that?
3476. 3476.
Yes. Do you have it now?
I have it, Commissioner.
Yes. Now, I think you've owned that signature, and that's the one where you say, when you were in Johannesburg, you said,
Yes, sir.
this was brought to you and you
Yes,
met, and you signed. What I've noticed with the signatures on the preambles, if, for example, we were to think in terms of angles as in mathematics, that part of your signature that comes down, do you see it? In this signature, on this preamble, it's slanting to the left. So if we're talking an angle, it would be an obtuse angle, slanting to the left like that. And let's go to page 3481. There as well, you see that slanting to the left, which would again be something like an obtuse angle if you look at it in conjunction with a dotted line at the bottom. You see that?
I see that.
Yeah. Okay, now let's look at the signatures on the affidavits themselves. Let's look at 3476. You see, are you at 3476?
Yes, I am, Commissioner.
Do you see that that
Commissioner.
line is slanting to the
Yes,
right?
Commissioner.
If it was an angle, it would be an acute angle now. And let's go to 3480. There as well, same thing, slanting to the right. And then we go to 3484. Same thing, also slanting to the right. I know that when you sign, like if I were to sign now, even if I were to sign immediately after having signed, I sign my signature, and immediately within seconds I sign. Those may not look exactly the same, I know that. But what strikes me is that with all the preambles I've referred you to, we see what approximates an obtuse angle. With all the affidavits, we see what approximates an acute angle. Can you explain that?
Yes, Commissioner, I can.
Yes.
I signed that while I'm sitting in the car. They brought the paperwork down. It was a case of this. That's why I can tell you the signature is mine. The date is not accurate. I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt. It couldn't have been that date. But they brought it to the car for me. I signed off and I drove off.
And how were you holding the document?
In my
as
left
you
hand.
signed?
In my left hand, signing with my right hand. That is why even for my scribble, that is terrible.
But the paper was not slanting, it was...
Commissioner, I
straight
wouldn't
in
be able
front
to
of
tell you
you.
which way I was leaning, but I do remember that I was holding it in my left hand and signing on it. And that is why, if you look at my signature, I don't have a pretty signature, and that is even slightly uglier. So that's the reason for that.
Okay.
So I will own the signature. It's mine. The date, that does not belong to me.
Yeah, I just had to raise that because there are lots of issues around these documents.
No, I understand,
And therefore, if I notice something that's off with the signatures, I just had to engage you on it.
I understand, Commissioner.
All right, thank you.
I just take you back to these affidavits that you, and this conversation with Mr. Perumal, that Advocate Johnson wanted the topics or the complaints to be broken up into 4 parts. You've already at that point given the team of 3, Perumal, Ramsamy, and Mr. Rapesu, you've already given them 4 different separate affidavits.
Yes, ma'am.
What does Mr. Perumal say to you now you're supposed to do? Why are you now required to do 4 separate, to deal with what now? Because you have 4 separate affidavits already.
Yes. So I gave them 4 separate affidavits, and my understanding was that she wanted it done another way because she wanted to break it into separate cases. I don't know if it was 4 or 6 matters. So that was my understanding of the situation, of which I was willing to comply. I was willing to comply.
Yeah, what I'm trying to understand is you already have 4 separate cases, remember? And that's what those affidavits that you gave earlier in the day to the 3 of them, the supplementary
Yes, ma'am.
affidavits, they deal with 4 different cases.
Yes, ma'am.
What was explained to you is going to be the difference in the content, because it must have had something to do with the content. He must have said to you, now we need to exclude this for reason ABCD, or we need to include that for reason ABCD, for his approach to you
Yes, ma'am.
to make sense. What does he say to you? Is
My
the problem
understanding with the
content?
affidavits that I gave them was that it was going to be 3 cases,
Even though you gave him 4?
even though I gave them 4.
Okay.
That was my understanding. He then said to me that, no, the auntie wants it in 4, which I didn't argue with because she's the senior prosecutor.
Yes.
So he said to me, the auntie also wants a little bit more meat to the cases. And this is where we sat down, and this is where we started writing.
Yes. And do remind me, because I've closed the pages here, do any one of the ones that Mr. Perumal takes from you in the evening, do they deal with your allegations about the PKTT?
Let me just say.
I see that the one speaks about General Tsele and General Kuma. If you look at the one at 3475,
3, 4.
75,
Thank you, ma'am.
that deals in paragraph 2. It says something about General Masemula and Tsele and General Kumalo. And then in the next paragraph, it talks about top secret clearance for many years. That's the one. And then the second one at 3479 speaks to General Madondo and the documents that you found under your door.
Which page are we at now?
Sorry
Commissioner?
about that.
I'm sorry, I just lost track now.
3479.
3479?
You'll see in paragraph 2, it deals with General Madondo.
Yes, ma'am.
And the documents that you found. And then if you go to 3483. 3483,
Oh, 3, fine.
it deals with Brigadier Mukwele's appointment.
Yes, ma'am.
I think there was an earlier one. Ms. Mubet, do you want to remind me?
The 3. We only
3,
have the
4?
3. We only have the 3.
Okay, so we have these 3. None of them speak to the PKTT matter that you've covered in an earlier affidavit.
And the
None of them speaks to the forklift, as far as I can see, that you had dealt with earlier.
There was a 4th one relating to the forklift. And when I questioned Chief Perumal about the PKTT,
Yes.
he said that will come at a later stage.
Did he explain why? I mean, it's an important topic to you at the time.
It's very important to me, and still is. But at a later stage, I didn't like it, but I'm not going to argue as long as it comes.
You said the auntie wants it to be
4
done
dockets.
this way.
This is what he's been sent to come.
Okay, thank you.
I must say, Mr. Adams, and this is my last point on this, what you've just told us about the supplementary affidavits, the A1s, and how they came about, makes me doubt what you said earlier about your Section 27 referral. Because it now makes me suspect that at a later point, you were handed a document which is a new 27, and you signed it at a later point. Because that would be consistent with what happened with these A1s.
If I may,
Yes.
Commissioner Kumalo, this happened on the same night. That Section 27 is the only one I signed.
I understand that part. I'm talking about affidavits having been prepared before, and then late at night or whenever, somebody comes back to you and says, we need to add this, we need to take this out, we need to do this, sign new affidavits. That is consistent with you having prepared a Section 27 referral, and then at a later point, somebody coming to you and say, we no longer want PKTT or forklift in this, let's take them out, sign a new Section 27 referral. Because if that is your signature in the document that we looked at, it does not explain why it does not look like the original that you say you submitted. And the only logical explanation is that at a later point, you were presented with a different document and you signed that document.
No, Commissioner Kumar.
Because we're going to live here not knowing how your signature ends up in this document that starts on page 5112 of file 2, because your signature is there and we don't know how it ends up there. And we're going to live today not knowing that. And that's my parting shot on this.
Commissioner, I'm only answering you as I can. For instance, if I may, that, forget it again, the introduction,
Preamble.
the preamble. The easiest thing in the world would have been to deny the signature on the preamble. I'm telling you as fact, it's mine. As I'm telling you with the Section 27, I did not do two. And when I heard there was a second one, I was confused. And now when I look at what Mr. Nsame is saying, and I'm going back into what's left of my memory bank, I'm leaning towards her. And that's not that's not even a place I want to be. I'm answering it to you as you asked me the question. And as far as the Section 27 is concerned, whoever did whatever, they must come and explain it to you.
Sorry, Mr. Galzungobe. If you've already testified on this, please forgive me. What time in the evening did Chief Perumal contact you for this second set of statements to be made?
Commissioner Madlanga, the time, it was late. I can't be very specific.
How late?
It was definitely after 9.
After 9.
Yeah.
That's when he contacts you.
That's when he asked if he can come quickly.
Yeah. So he goes to your place around 9, and you sat together until roughly about what time? When the affidavits, sorry. When the affidavits had now been commissioned, roughly about what time do you think it was?
He had a cup of coffee afterwards and he left around about 11:30, coming to 12. I didn't check, but it would have been late because we sat a while.
Okay.
Because he was taking instruction and he was phoning and it was a back and forth.
3 people had traveled from Gauteng to Cape Town to consult with you and to take your statements, and now only one of them contacts you that late in the evening at 9, and he goes to your place all by himself and is with you until 11 or even after 11. Were you not suspicious about this conduct?
Not at the time, Commissioner. I'm speaking to an officer of the law. On the phone, he's got an officer of the court. I'm comfortable.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Adams, Ms. Ramsamy, while you were giving this evidence, sent me a message to say that at that stage, by 6 January 2025, nobody in IDEC was referring to Ms. Mokwele as Ms. Mokwele. They had only known her as the BMW lady. And if you go to one of the A1s, the Mokwele A1,
The Mokwele A1?
which is on page 3483.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
have it?
I have it.
If you look at paragraph 3, I was informed that there were several highly skilled and qualified senior police officers who applied for the post but were overlooked by the CI management who favored Mrs. Mokwele over them. The generals involved are Kumalo, CI head Lushaba, CI Madondo, and Lekalakala. And she says at that stage it was just known to all of them, including Advocate Johnson as the BMW lady. In fact, later on when they have a meeting, she even, and this is after 6 January 2025, when they eventually get the details, her CV and all of that. Before that, she even misspelled her name because nobody knew her as Ms. Mokwele. So for it to be in this affidavit on the 6th of January 2025, and remember in your consultation with Ms. Rapesu, Mr. Rapesu, Ms. Ramsamy, and Mr. Perumal, you don't even talk about the BMW lady.
Yes, ma'am.
You agree?
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, it's not a complaint of yours when you have that meeting with them.
100%, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I can't speak about who knew who as Mrs. Mokwele. I was asked to have my ID number ready and just to help out with details. I saw the Ms. Mokwele, I didn't know. I can't answer for that, ma'am.
Well, not your ID number, radio.
But- Excuse me.
Because they had met with you earlier that day. So what are you saying?
I'm using it as an example, man. I was there and you'd ask me a question and I would answer and you'd call the auntie and the typing would go on. I don't know. I don't know what Ms. Mokwele's first name is. I wouldn't know that nobody knew who she was, but this is what happened.
But did you know who she was?
Yes, I knew who she was.
Do you know her as Mrs. Mokwele?
No, I knew her as the BMW lady.
Yes, because everybody at that stage knew her as the BMW lady. They wouldn't know her as anything else because you are the source of their information. So if you don't know her as Ms. Mokwele, how would they know?
Let me answer you like this, ma'am. This is not my typing. So when we're talking about BMW and the person that got the job, and they refer to her as Ms. Mokwele, I'm accepting it as Ms. Mokwele. I'm not arguing, I'm not asking, do you know her as Ms. Mokwele? The person who will answer this is Chief Investigator Perumal.
And she also says that nobody even knew at that stage who was on the panel, the appointment panel, by the 6th of January. Nobody within IDAC knew that.
I was outside of IDAC. I was assisting with the affidavit at the request of the auntie.
And both Ms. Ramsamy and Mr. Rapesu testified that Mr. Perumal, they didn't have this Pretoria stamp that you see on the affidavits that Mr. Perumal commissioned. They didn't have it in Cape Town.
Ma'am, that part I cannot agree with because those affidavits I signed in their presence and I left. I didn't check the stamp.
No, not that. If you go to one of Mr. Rapesu's, so 3486.
3486.
Do you see?
Just give me a second, please. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rapesu's affidavits that he commissioned doesn't have the stamp. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
It is the affidavits of Mr. Perumal commissioned that has the stamp, so 3478.
If I may ask, ma'am, that perhaps Mr. Perumal must come and tell you as well that this thing was stamped. I don't know what Mr. Rapesu is saying. I can't argue with Mr. Rapesu. They've got, as we all know, they've got their own internal war. But this thing was done this way.
It was stamped in your presence.
In my
Is that what you're saying?
What was stamped in your presence? The ones that Mr. Perumal did?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but that's why I'm saying to you what Ms. Ramsamy and Mr. Rapesu say is that the stamp was not with, they didn't travel with the stamp to Cape Town with the Pretoria stamp.
If I may answer you this way, I don't know what was in whose bag, and I don't know who's got the knife out for who, but I'm telling you my version of what happened, ma'am, and the commissioners will make a determination.
Why do you think you were chosen by whoever made the choice for sticking this envelope under your door? Why do you think you were chosen?
Commissioner Kamalo, I think I'm easily the most outspoken and active person regarding fighting gang violence and drug abuse on the Cape Flats, easily, by a mile. And people know that this is my passion and this is what I live for. And I've been making noise in that police committee since day one, Somebody thought I'll either take it to the media or to the SAPs, but when I saw the confidential part, I knew the media wasn't an option. Somebody probably put his money on, now this guy will lay a charge. I understand that now. I 100% understand, as Commissioner Kumalo put it rightly, the machinations, and I don't see the whole picture. I don't see the whole picture because I've got many question marks and many questions. I'm even starting to doubt things that I did myself. But let me give you the assurance, Commissioner. If tomorrow another envelope comes under my door, I shouldn't, and my wife will be angry with me, but I'll probably do the same thing. I will go and lay charges because we need to turn the ship around by any means necessary if you want to.
You see, that very narrative about an envelope under your door, the unseemly haste with which you acted moving between Cape Town and Orlando, the several imponderables that we have engaged you on. The very fact that you yourself say you have a number of questions which of course you may have because you are now faced with the imponderables that we are raising with you. All of that from where I am sitting seems to suggest at least two things. Either you were part of a concerted effort to lay these charges for whatever reasons which may not necessarily have had anything to do with a genuine belief of the existence of criminality. So you having been part of that, or, as I said, at least two possibilities, or that you were used to achieve this purpose, that is the purpose of laying these charges for whatever reason. Do you want to comment on that?
If I may comment, Commissioner?
Yes.
Most of the cases that we have before the court and that are under investigation, we actually don't know who the sources are. Well, not most of them, some of them. So we are used. Many times there's no merit in it. Like you can receive 10 things and there's only 2 things worth reporting. So I do believe I was used. I believe that what I saw was real. However, the courts have, the NPA has made a determination. You will soon make a determination. I will respect both.
But to the extent that there are a number of questions that you can not answer on issues that you yourself participated with your eyes wide open, one could say that those are indicators that you were a willing participant in all of this. What's your comment?
Commissioner, the one thing I'll take away here, besides the hiding you gave me on day one, is that I need to pause sometimes. I need to not react immediately. And I need to do better timekeeping above all. But I wasn't a willing participant in anything. There was nothing in it for me. This has cost me big time. As you can see, I don't even bring an attorney with me because I can't afford to house him here. So I understand that there are people that might have benefited financially who sat before this commission. I'm not one of them. This madness that I got myself into, it was only because I want to see our boys live. That's the only reason. And I tell you now, Commissioner, someone told me last night, Madlanga is going to kill you. I said, why would you say something like that? He said, they need a sacrifice. I said to him, Buddha, not to you, to him. I said, Buddha, if our children are going to live longer on the Cape Flats, forget prison, they can send me to hell. And that is why I'm here.
And I'll give them the assurance that I don't kill anybody. Thank you very much.
Commissioner, if I may?
Yes.
I really need to get to the bathroom. I've had lots of water.
Let's adjourn, but we will come back. We are not taking the lunch adjournment now.
Thank you.
Let's adjourn.
Just 5 minutes.
Yes, Ms. Sigels Ncube.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, two brief matters. The first is that Mr. Adams has now given us the recording of General Sentimule's evidence at ad hoc. It's a 2-minute clip that he wants us to place on the record, and we'll just play it quickly. And then there's one last topic that I want to address with him.
Is it audible enough? Or
It
do we
is
need
audible,
this?
yes,
Oh,
Chair.
thank you.
Chairperson,
Yes, Mr.
I
Adams.
just wanted to bring you to your attention. I lost track of time earlier. It's Friday. If my mother sees me on TV at 1:20, I can't go home. I need to be in mosque. So if we can please expedite this out. I understand the commission's responsibility. I'm hoping that the commission understands mine.
So that's 7 minutes only.
I don't know if it can
It will
fit in.
be, I will be done by then.
I'll keep my answer
yes.
short. Thank you.
No, I don't think that you'll be able to elaborate, but let's see.
My capacity as the DevCom, I did not have to know the contents of the dockets. And transferring dockets for me, it's not about police information. It is actually law enforcement information. So if IDEC writes it down and says these are our dockets, I am not the one to say.
Where were these dockets kept?
They were General Jacob's office.
Safe.
In his safe, yes.
Where do you normally keep dockets?
Dockets are kept at a station.
Why were they in a safe at someone's office?
And I think that's what General Jacob.
Are these dockets the dockets of Honorable Adams?
I checked yesterday. Sorry.
So it's Honorable Adams' case that was kept in a safe?
Yes.
Do you think that he is justified to think that you were sabotaging his cases?
Not his cases, he was not the IO. As you can see, the dockets actually
He's a complainant. That's the point. He went to open cases, 3 police stations. He went to. And he says to us, he was testifying, he's still going to testify today. He was testifying that he has went to 3 police stations on the basis that he felt that you, police of South Africa, are sabotaging him. That's the reason he even went to an extent of going to IDEC. And you come here and confirm that the dockets he opened a case on at police stations were kept in a safe of someone's office, not where dockets usually get kept at SAPS.
I was not part of any sabotage, and I think I wouldn't accede to that. And I would agree with you, and I did say this over and over again, that in my capacity as the DevCom, I did not have to know the contents of the dockets.
That's the clip that Mr. Adams wanted us to play, Chair. And
Commissioner, I apologize. You know I'm here willingly. You know I'm trying to be as cooperative as I can. May I ask of you, Advocate, if you could perhaps allow me to answer whatever it is you're going to ask in a supplementary. I have to go to mosque. I can't.
Okay.
I love my life, Justice.
Chair, I'll just then place on record, since I have 4 minutes left. It's the document at page 3527, which is a section 28.6 summons that IDAC sent to the Acting National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Dimpani, asking, in May 2026, asking for the details of the PKTT that traveled to Cape Town to arrest Mr. Adams. And that is what I wanted to ask him, whether he had any, and the information is at page 3531, where it says particulars pertaining to the PKT team that traveled to the Western Cape for the arrest of Mr. Fadiel Adams, MP. And I wanted to know from Mr. Adams, what business was it of IDAC to know which members of the PKTT had gone to arrest you, and were you involved in asking IDAC to get this information of the members of the PKTT?
I was in prison at this time.
It's on the 11th of May.
Oh, okay. No, I never had a discussion, not with anybody about this. I don't even know if this is IDAC's business, but surely the IDAC can come and explain. I would just like to, Commissioner, if Advocate Lee is okay, if I can just, there's a Pretoria case that I would like this commission to look at. It's 561. 7 of 2024. It relates to the murder of a covert intelligence of a CI. There are allegations that
Mr. Adams, you've given us limited time, so we've got the case
I thought
number.
you were
We'll
done,
deal
sorry.
with it. Thank you. We'll take down that case number.
If I may,
But you said
I
you
know,
needed to go.
if I may. It is
Can't
alleged,
you make your point in your supplementary affidavit about that
I just
case?
want you to
Please,
hear
please.
this, I just want you to hear this, Commissioner.
Okay, all right.
God is going to hit me for this, but I just want you to hear this.
All right.
It is alleged that Brigadier Johnson, who I now know is related to Andrew Johnson, was involved in the cover-up of that murder, and it is believed that that cover-up goes all the way to General Khan at Crime Intelligence. So I'm asking you to please have a look at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, I have nothing further for the witness.
May I just comment on the clip that was played? My sense listening to that and having the background of the evidence that we went through, my sense is that Mr. Ngola and General Sentumule appear not to have been aware of the background of the investigation that was being done by, what's the rank of Philip?
General Chase.
That was being conducted by Colonel Philip.
I think
If they had had that background, I doubt that the questioning and answers would have gone the way they did. I just wanted to make that comment.
Am I released, Commissioner?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sorry, let's
Adams?
adjourn formally. Let's adjourn formally.
What time, Chair?
Yes. What time will we? What time do we? We'll come back at 2:20, and what's the final word then about? It's just a supplementary from this.
Correct, Chair.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll communicate with the evidence leaders about the timing and everything. Let's adjourn and resume at 2:20.
Thank you.